Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to the third edition of Social Enterprise CII Social Enterprise Conclave. We would be starting our session shortly, please. Thank you. Once again, a very warm welcome to third edition of CII Social Enterprise Conclave. Thank you for joining us. We would be starting our session shortly, please. Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome once again to the third edition of CII Social Enterprise Conclave. We would be starting our session in next few minutes, please. Thank you for joining us. Have patience, we will be starting the session soon. Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are starting the session anytime. Just waiting for the dignitaries to join in. Please have patience. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Our dignitaries are facing a little bit of technical glitches, hence this delay. Our sincere apologies for this delay. We would be starting in any moment. They are just trying to logging in. Please bear with us. We are really apologetic for these technical glitches. Once again, we welcome all of you to the third edition of the Social Enterprise Conclave and grateful to you for joining us in the session. I'm sure we are going to have a very interesting session going forward. Just waiting for the two dignitaries to coming in. They would be joining in any moment. They are just trying to log in. There are some technical glitches, hence this delay. Once again, apologies for these technical glitches. Good morning, sir. Sorry, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
So we are just waiting for Mr. Roy to logging in. He's facing a little bit of technical glitches, would be joining in any moment, sir.
Okay, fine. No
Before
problem.
that, thank you very much for your time, sir. We were eagerly waiting to hear from you. We are delighted that we got you in the third edition of our Social Enterprise Conclave. Our participants are waiting to hear you. Just within the next few seconds, Mr. Roy would be joining in. We are just waiting for Mr. Roy to joining in.
Okay, fine. No problem. How are you, Dalia? Everything fine?
Yes, sir, everything is fine.
Thank you. How is the Shoikot?
He's perfectly all right, sir. Sir, this session is streaming in YouTube also. So we are live now.
Oh, live. Good.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Roy is joining in. I'm coordinating with his office.
Which Roy?
Mr. Saurabh Roy, he is Chief CSR Tata Steel Limited.
CS?
Chief CSR Tata Steel Limited, Mr.
Oh,
Saurabh Roy.
Tata Steel Limited.
Yes.
Okay.
So they are just trying to logging in. We are very sorry for these technical glitches. This WebEx sometimes reach us. So that's this delay. He's trying his level best. We are expecting him any moment, sir. They are changing the system and doing it fast. So we can expect Mr. Roy any moment. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to the third edition of CII Social Enterprise Conclave. We are extremely happy to share with you that we are starting our third edition of Social Enterprise Conclave with the fire chat with none other than Mr. C.S. Ghosh, MD and CEO Bandhan Bank. We would be today talking about social enterprise towards inclusive development, and we are extremely privileged to have Mr. Saurabh Roy, Chief CSR, Tata Steel Limited, and Co-Chairman, CSR and Affirmative Subcommittee of CII Eastern Region today with us, who would be in conversation with Mr. C.S. Ghosh. Over to Mr. Roy to start the fire chat, please.
Thank you, Dalia. Just to check if I'm audible, and Mr. Ghosh, if you can hear me.
Yeah, yes. And I also say that, am I audible?
Yes, Mr. Ghosh, loud and clear. Thank you. So Dalia, thank you for setting the ball rolling. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for making the time and joining us today. I think. First of all, the social entrepreneurship conclave was a glint in our eye about 3 years ago, and it sort of caught traction, and I know it is a conversation starter more than anything else, and I think it's really caught on. So this is the third edition. We are trying to do a digital version. A large part of entrepreneurship, also may not be entirely digital, but we are still trying to do the best we can. Particularly, I'm still not sure how much of social entrepreneurship can be. So, Coach, that's a question I do want to come back to you with at some point. Which brings me to Mr. Ghosh. Mr. Ghosh, the name is enough, as they say. But it's an absolute pleasure to have you with us, and we couldn't think of a better way to kickstart a conversation on social entrepreneurship. You've been one of the foremost proponents and an exemplar in the space. It's an absolute pleasure. Mr. Ghosh, to be with you today, and welcome to the Social Entrepreneurship Conclave, and welcome to this chat, sir.
So it is my pleasure, Mr. Roy and CII invited me to interact of this type of very important event, which is focusing on that the social activities.
Thank you, Mr. Ghosh. So, Mr. Ghosh, let me begin at the very beginning. Okay, so we had I also had the privilege of many years ago starting out with as a young upstart, not knowing what I was doing in the Grameen ecosystem of Bangladesh. Okay, so this whole concept of social entrepreneurship, microfinance, and that's been my breeding ground. And of course, when in India, I mean, can't think of a better name than this. How amazingly social entrepreneurship has grown and developed in terms of concept, in terms of in terms of even definitions maybe right now. So I don't think there's an organization, any organization other than Bandhan, who has sort of traversed this growth. You're flying, but your feet are still on the ground. And that is a very difficult combination to achieve in today's listing. So, Mr. Ghosh, let me begin with a slightly off-kilter question, but there's a question to Mr. Ghosh. So, who is really a social entrepreneur?
my the low income women who are getting the financial facilities and build up a enterprise to provide the service to the larger number of people. I hope that they are the social entrepreneur. Working with that.
No, fantastic. So then I think we'll pivot around that.
I give the one example on that, why I'm saying about it on that. The couple of years back, when I going to the field and I am starting to talking of these people, and they are asking that give the job, and I'll be job under you, not give the loan. And then I have been lots of point I have been discussed with them, but they say that what business I can do. Okay, you can do to sell the chappal in the village. And you believed it on that we are targeted on that with or one of the program, that every 2-3 villages, one of the women sell the plastic chappal in their house. And after 2 years, I visited that house 1.5 years later. I find out on that they are huge stock. And also they expressed, sir, I am in good money is earning. And the villagers is coming to me to buy the plastic chappal they use. And what is the social impact? People's habit also has come use this chappal because of it is very easily available in the same villages on that. So this is a one kind of say that is doing the business, but providing the chappal to the villagers to use it, which can be saved themselves from the disease, not every time touching the art. So that is a social impact is there. So that women is a social entrepreneur. I am just giving the thought to them. So there is a really impact to the social.
So, I think that's such a beautiful example. I think it brings in seva, it brings in tyag, it brings in so many emotions in the whole piece. So just want to for the benefit of the audience, this obsession or philosophy with investing in women as entrepreneurs. Most of the narrative now is more around you invest in women, get them to a gender parity situation. But Bandhan's story has been investing in women because we believe in women, because that's where the magic will happen for many reasons.
Correct.
Just your thoughts on this. So this distinction in terms of investing to equalize rather than investing, because that's where the richest thinking will happen, or the richest benefits will this thing. Any experiences that you would like to share on that? So any thought processes would.
No, if we analyze in our society in India, and you go to this, the rural is more, and the people who are low income, the first point on that, people will give the importance who is earning cash. If I go to the family level, the wife is nurturing the children, washing the cloth, cooking the food, and the serving to the family members. He is not earning anything. Isn't totally unearned people in the family. And every of this torture will be happened on herself. So because he is not earning the cash money. But if you see that in any of the other family, middle class or upper class, for that job done by the maid servant, and they are paying for that. But the same work done by family members, but we are not paying, but we say that they are not earning cash. So that their importance is less. They are not, nobody is asking any decision making to them. Even the children marries, even children is school, in the whatever happened in that family, they are not asking, they are not decision maker. That means they are not empowered because they are not financially empowered. So for that reason, I feel that the women actually is the nucleus of the family. Without the women, there is a one word, one sentence have been taught in the Bengali. So if the wife died, husband immediately will be married. So this is not it's coming to another one, but it is not for women. So in that sense, women is a nucleus. They're nurturing the children for the future. Now, if they earn, they have been make their status in the family, they can be status in their society, they can contribute to the education of the children, and also they can be give the good health facilities to the children and family members. So they will be like to look everyone on that. For that reason, I feel that how we can be like to empowered economically the women, they can earn cash and they can be show it I can, and their power will become on that. And that can be like to decision making. If you see that now, what's happened on that? They are asking, the husband is asking their decision making. If you say this is the office of mine, I feel proud on that. Only the women come to this office. Husband has come with the wife. Husband is standing in the outside of the office, and his wife is sitting in the office. This is a different thing. I have been see that the change of the people. So that would be help on that to total society change, total family change, family economy change. And also now we see that the very big way it has come on that, because impact is a huge. If I help to the 5 men, it will not impact that much. If I help to the 2 women, impact is more than that, because sometimes the man surplus money used for wine, another gambling, many things. But women is very much productive, social productive way they are spent. They are spend the money for taking land. They spend money for house. They spend money for ornaments purchase. This is an all our study have been done from our internal. We see that their money utilized as a not only the part of this the lifestyle, they are use this money as a very capital investment. Land, house, interior decoration, gold, these are type of happiness. Then I feel proud on that, work with them and focusing with them to provide these services on that. I hope that this isn't social impact.
I mean, I can see Dalia nodding vigorously. and no, Mr. Ghosh, I think this is how does one put it? This is not just social impact. This is what we hope social impact should look like, right? So absolutely. Uh, I'm just going to maybe ask a slightly. So you're absolutely correct. I mean, if I may say so, investing in women is a surer way of making sure that the social entrepreneur takes people along, with herself naturally, not in a forced manner. So also, so much of social entrepreneurship and so much of Bandhan's own business model is actually invested in maybe not so much creating enterprise, but creating entrepreneurs, and that's a subtle difference. Right. So in fact, it's a subtle difference, but that is possibly the difference between a successful program and a program that maybe is not succeeding. And when I say creating entrepreneurs, there are things like risk appetite. There are things like perseverance, which are very difficult to measure. Sometimes difficult to unlock also. So I'm assuming in your experience, you would have also seen that. Do women actually have more fortitude and therefore more of a risk appetite than men on an average? Is that something that you've seen? And second is, purely from a, let's say, even if it's through a group collateral process or whatever process, is it safer to invest in women in terms of returns for the investor also? Just these two, your thoughts on these two points, Mr. Ghosh.
There is in women, what we find out from the practical life on that, they are good investor. Their investment is placed in such a good way, which return has come very good. So this is in one side, which I find out. I give the example also on that. Sometimes we find out on that, taking the loan in the morning and evening return back, total money. I surprised, why? Well, sir, after I entered to my house, my husband has beaten to me to snatching the money. I'll not like to keep. I cannot be give the return this money to you if my husband will be like to take it. So that I have been come back to return the money. You see that how they are sincere about it, the money return, and how they are also sincere who can be like to utilize the money properly or not. That sense is coming from the women. And no history in the man. This history not in a man. They are not returning back. But women is returning back. This is the one side. And they are very much serious about their job. Sometimes we find out also that the Didi, why the 20,000? Why not you can take your business is a 30,000? Well, no, sir. We try on that 20,000. If we success, then we'll come for that next. But they are also cautious to take the money. So this the character is a good for entrepreneur development. Which character is in whatever I am asking money or getting everything. So they are not good entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs should be understand themselves better, and accordingly they will like to invest the money in this same way on that, and return back also very good. If you see that if it is not women, my return will not come to that much. So because of this seriousness, their investment idea and their investment, the rational is good. So that there be good character of this, the entrepreneur. I'm not saying that the man is not there, but is there. But women also very, very good at that.
So, no, I think that was an aspect which was close to my heart also, and I'm glad we got to start with that, and spend time on on the whole gender angle and what that really means for social entrepreneurship. Mr. Ghosh, a lot of our work, and when we go out amongst communities across the country, in the eastern part of the country, wherever we go, what one thing is coming out very strongly, and I just wanted your maybe opinion on that or view on that, is there are large parts of the country where, let's say, there are many youngsters, in villages, in peri-urban areas, etc., who are very interested in, let's say, conserving their culture, or actually there are so many youngsters who really want to go out and do something in society, but they're not really thinking entrepreneurship, right? But let's talk of culture, for instance, culture and talent. There are the artisans, for instance.
Correct.
There are artisans there who want to keep their culture alive, keep their language alive, keep their traditions alive. But a real tussle, a real, trade-off is to actually keep, पेट भरें या culture को जिंदा रखें. What do I run after? And we've seen some, at least in my little experience, we've seen some models that are actually working well in terms of using local talent, customs, tradition to actually create entrepreneurial models. I'm asking this because I've sensed this so strongly as a point of conflict amongst youngsters in communities. Is that something, sir, Bandhan has also come across? Is that something that am I right in what I'm saying? Is that something that the Bandhan experience has also shown? Can social entrepreneurship, can entrepreneurship be an answer to this tussle between economic empowerment and, let's say, keeping culture, tradition alive? Does art or local talent really work as businesses? Is that something we can push people to?
Can you repeat some? Actually, what I am not getting that point.
Often when we look at entrepreneurship, okay, it is usually based or workshop based, or there's some production involved. That's the conventional way of looking at social entrepreneurship. But there are many. I'll give you an example of this entire group of many youngsters who come and say that, Acha, what I really want to do is, I'm talented. I'm a musician. Okay, let's say I'm a tribal musician. Okay, and I want to keep my culture and my music alive. I want to see if I can bring people together and do something about it. But there's no money in it. What am I doing? I'm setting up a poultry farm. Or I'm setting up a poultry farm, which is remunerative, which is fine. But he's moving away from what he wants to do, and the music inside dies somewhere. And with that, when you multiply this, there's a culture or a tradition concept to it. Can culture, music, art, can these actually be models of grassroots entrepreneurship? Okay. That's the question.
Fine. No. First point on that will be like to do whatever the entrepreneurship. We should like to. It can be sustainable. It cannot be charitable job. If it is a charitable job, it's a depend on something. When it will be available, then it will be continue. When it will be not available, it will not continue. We'll be like to do some enterprise, which every enterprise is need in a financially viable first. And second is there some is that the large number of society get the benefit. That maybe we can say that the social entrepreneur. But if I say is a NGO or some group of the people we are working for COVID situation to people save the people, fine. This is also social activities, but not the social entrepreneur. It will become a social entrepreneur when they will be like to make some revenue to meet up their cost. I'm not saying that the very, very high profit, very thing on that. No, not. But like to manage the cost by their revenue and helping to the large number of people, not the limited number of people. That can be, we can decide on that, the social entrepreneur, and accordingly we can be like to design it. Next point on that, is it that the demand has come from the society, have the demand from the large number of people? Then it will be like to say that the social entrepreneurs can be like to help on that and build up their enterprise on that basis. That not means, as per my understanding, I am very small knowledge on that. That is, earning the money is, that not means it is not the social enterprise. No, if earning money, again, money is going to the society, so good, this isn't social enterprise. So it can be, I like to think in that way, and lots of opportunity have in our country and society, which can be created this type of social enterprise on that. And if you say the microcredit, actually the social entrepreneur and social enterprise, and they are also creating another kind of social enterprise through their support. And it will be like to large number of people are not getting that advantage. So providing on them to free, they are come as a independent and freedom from the private money lenders. That is a big change come to the society. If you say that the money lender charges 10% per month, 120%. If lenders even charge to 20%, the 100% net income coming to that families, that will be like benefit to them, the financial benefit, and they are systematically come to the system, which is the institutional finance. And whenever they have need in a further, they can be access on that. So that way we can be see that this is microcredit also the social enterprise.
Sir, but no, absolutely point taken, sir. Mr. Ghosh, and I love the way you're, if I may use the word, you're obsessive about the fact that a social entrepreneur is when you're having social impact plus creating cash, creating
Correct.
this thing. You're doing either one of them, then you're not a social entrepreneur. You're
Right.
something, that's your decision, but you're not a social entrepreneur. So I think that's in your entire years of this mini journey, it's so reassuring to see that you haven't let go of that. That's the lovely piece. Uh, uh, for a social entrepreneur, let's say if we look at the general entrepreneurship ecosystem of the country, right? There are certain buzzwords that keep coming in. I'm not even getting into funding and Series A and all of that. I'm not getting into that, right? So I have two questions. I'm just going to put them to you, and do take them in any order you will. First is you absolutely rightly said there are informal systems which are very extractive. You spoke about money lenders, you spoke about even extended families lending at exorbitant rates, land mortgage, things that play out, right? So you have informal systems which are very sometimes easily available but exploitative, right? And then you have formal systems which are now maybe more accessible than earlier, but you have formal systems which are less accessible. So the actual has always been between, shall I just easily access the money right now in the here and the now and then get exploited? Everyone knows what they're headed for. As people don't know. So that is one option. Where else is access? So the balance has definitely tilted. Formal systems have definitely become more accessible, and that's the beauty of the Bandhan story also. But just that piece, sir. How do you think the balance has changed, and where do you think the balance is headed as we go forward? Are formal systems set to become more and more accessible, both in terms of the cost of accessing them and actually becoming available? So that is one question, sir. I'm just going to leave the second question also with you. And if you go to any, fancy startup ecosystem or the venture capital system, etc., one buzzword is scale. What is your cash burn? How strongly are you scaling your business? If you want to continue to have social impact, there's a certain pace and a correctness at which a business can be scaled. So that's my second question, sir. That in a social entrepreneurship piece, how does one look at this concept of scale? Big is not necessarily beautiful. So the first one, sir, are formal systems getting more and more accessible? What are your thoughts on that? Second, some of us deal with this concept of scale.
No, Mr. Rai is correct on that. If you see in my history in the life, small is beautiful, big is necessary. I believed on that. Because country is a big, 130 crores population. If you not make a scale, there is no impact will come to India. If you can make an impact in a one village, it cannot be helpful to the country on that, the social impact. You should be like to scale, and accordingly you can provide on that. When you make a scale, the automatically I have need to, the formal system will be activated. If the formal system is not activated, a scale is not possible. Both the side is like to active on that. And for that reason, I've been talking about the private money lenders and dependency will be like to reduce. If I am not become a bank, I cannot reach to the 34 states and union territory. Until now, we are reached to this the 2.5 crores the families to provide this the services. It's not good enough. And even it is a very small amount according to this the 26 crores family. 26 crore family, that means maybe that the not even 10% we have been reached. So if we not reach in the, as per your point, you also know better in that the 60% we cannot reach, there is no impact will come to the society. So when we can be like to reach the 60%, is it that at the bottom of the pyramid is 60%? That maybe we can be easily reach. We can be, we can be possible to reach, to make a plan on that. But total country, all have not needed on that. If I say that the 60% people or 65% people have the bank account, 35% people is not there. And these are the 35% people, 65% people are more account, double account, triple account. They are also calculate on that. So if we see that the 35% account, that means that if 25% we cannot be reached, newly persons who are coming to this financial system, this not come to the impact. For that reason, I am always talking on that microcredit is need on that to reach 50% of the family of India. 50% if we not can be reached, it cannot be come to that much impact. So this is my one side. So that this is also come forward with the entrepreneurs or whatever the social entrepreneurs, with the government machineries, private machineries together will be drive, then it can become that. I'm giving another example of that. If you say that the government machineries is a hospital, I'm saying that the health is in one side. And we have the one program I developed on that, educate the mothers about the health awareness, about the pregnant mother, child care. We are educating on that. And every of the villages, we have been developed in 7,000 villages, one of the health worker who will be like to voluntarily give this service. We trained them and they are providing this service to the families. So he is like to make 50 families conducted, per day 20 families. The objective is there, how we can educate the newly married wife, because they are very much vulnerable in the family. When she came to the family, if any disease she explained in any family, maybe poor or middle class, whatever, the immediately mother-in-law say that you are losing my son's money and taking all disease from your father's family. This is the normal nature of this country. No. And so that the wife is not expressing anything and she is suffering. My people enter to the house and taking all information from them and taking the advantage to help them by the husband, by the mother-in-law, like on that. Second point on that, they are caring. They are nurturing them as a pregnant mother, carrying them to deliver in the government health center, and also helping them to take care of the children and even also the vaccination. But how much they will be like to time spent for voluntarily? We have given the 5-6 medicine which is not needed to doctor prescription. I have been taken the bulk and given to them. They are earned 15, 20, 30% return, and they are earning some money. This is not only. We are now introduced on this. Why not? You can carry the baby to the hospital for vaccination. Why not you ask it at 10 rupees, 15 rupees to them? Why not the carry this the mother, pregnant mother to hospital for baby? Why not if she can give this 100 rupees to her? This is a social service, entrepreneurship, voluntarily started, developed a health entrepreneur and earning some money, sustainable these services, but is need the large number of people, educate them, link with the government hospital. Because if one mother, they are delivered the baby in the hospital, second child, they will be not like to go home. They will automatically go on there. And whatever the area they are working, the nearly 90% are born, they say children in the hospital. I say this is a social work with the help of the social infrastructure, whatever provided by the government. And in this moment, government people also activated. They cannot deny, I cannot do it. Maybe if alone go, they can deny. But one point is there 7 days before, my people are going to hospital and requested that my patient is coming, date is 7 days later, you will be wait on that. So this is the linking on these facilities by the village people. Village people will get as a and social entrepreneur. I say that, and getting some earning on that. Not only that, he is also very much interested to serve these things using with the government facilities. So many things we can be do on that. That is, you mentioned about that the how the formal system we can be like to make as a usable by the people, large number of people on that. If we can be make on that the large way, it's a big way we can be like to benefited on that. Why not? Our people can be like to plan with the health center doctors. What is the plan for the next 1 month? They can plan. I can be facilitate on that. And they can be proper. Then automatically our society people will get the benefit.
No, I'm just absorbing, Mr. Ghosh. So, no, absolutely. And thank you so much for having such an honest conversation, sir. I'm just a little conscious of time. So I have one question which I definitely want to put to you. Okay.
No, fine.
It's not a difficult question. It's a very easy question, as all of them are for you.
I'm just sharing my experience. I'm not answering on that.
We know where that experience comes from, sir. I mean, that's much to admire there. But Mr. Ghosh, there is a certain model of social entrepreneurship that you and I have been talking about, which really looks at, who's being left behind, obsessively, not running away from the fact that, you need to have a social impact to qualify as a social entrepreneur. Otherwise, be an entrepreneur and thank you very much. That's a noble goal in itself, right? And just keep an eye out for what are the difficulties. You make the very interesting point of sustainably monetizing what are now just seen as, services, just seen as things. This definition of social entrepreneurship has been around for some time, but I've also seen some efforts in and around us where people are setting up incubators for social entrepreneurship, right? A large part of the Bandhan outreach team, what it does well is actually, I don't know, inspire, cajole, just be with people while they discover their inner entrepreneur. So if I were to just ask you maybe not more than 2 or 3 principles or broad guidelines, if anyone is setting up an incubator for the social entrepreneurship that we're talking about, what would be useful for us to keep in mind?
Now, my mind on that, from my learning, whatever I learn from the village, from the people. If I like to say that suggest anything for incubation, who are coming to work on that? First, 1 month they will be stay as a lodging in the village. What is their problem? How they solve their problem? And what they can learn everything, whatever the lifestyle happening in their life, in the middle class or lower middle class. That food will take, there will be like to live, and don't mobile use, don't connection with the outside of that village, and come back with that learning. He can be like to select on that which one he like to do as a social entrepreneur. He can be not easily decide which one. He can be find out lots of things he can do. And everyone is in financially viable. And that financial viable and social activity is a model. He will be like to make a model. And that model who are the incubator in church, he can be like to give some formal support to them. That may be some training on the skill training of these people, how they drive the business or drive this enterprise, or they can be give some system of IT, so some system, other things where they will be get that funding. What is this? How they developed in a the model of financial viable project, which can be submit to the bank or financial institution to get it. That can be like to help on that to incubator, they will be done. And next, another point is there's a social entrepreneur should be 200% confidence on themselves. If they are feeling, yes, maybe, not maybe, then they cannot be maybe success coming on that. They will say that, yes, I taken it, I must success on that. It's maybe that 6 months or 1 year or 2 years or 5 years, that not matter, I'll be success. And he only can be success. Confidence is the best one. I have the one program called the TSP, who are beggar or destitute women. I selected from the village. To motto is there, I like to build up them as an entrepreneur. You can say that incubator. And I select them. I given the 2 days of training of confidence building. So I am with you. You will not lose anything. If you lose, I'll pay everything. But you will drive. After 2 years, you will be not ask money from anywhere. You believe on that. And then provided their enterprise asset, everything. And nurturing them 2 years. And every week, 2-3 times my people are living with them. And after 2 years, the Mr. Abhijit Binayak have been done the study from the beginning and say that the 200% confidence of these people compared to the who are not taken these facilities. Their success. And their income is now 10,000, 30,000 rupees income in a month. And after the 10 years, that day, Mr. Banerjee has been shared with me, Mr. Ghosh, those beneficiaries are now 4-story building. Their children are going to college. I'm surprised to see it. And who was in a beggar in that time, I visited. And after the beginning of that, and after 3 months, 6 months, and lady is asking that to Papa Rice to offer me. I'm saying that no. She said that, sir, I am not begging now. This is my earning. I earned this money by this enterprise, so you can take from me. But how much confidence? If I not physically meet, I cannot see it. This may be the another way I saw that the entrepreneurs development incubator is possible. I faced the challenge on that when I started in this. The Murshidabad is a very big challenge. First, coming on that, people, why you are giving free? What is your objective? Your objective is there to transfer the religious from this religious to that religious. Is it your? I have been taken 6 months time. Every month, 1 week, I've been stayed in a Murshidabad and only talked with the community people and given this the confidence. No, you believe on that. Once upon a time, I have been given one of the mosquito net as a free because of the project finished. We are coming back. And they return back all mosquito net. Why? The mosquito net is a color is a white. So you will convert me as a Christian. So that given this mosquito net. So lots of things I have been said that we can be learned from community, society. Then we can be design the project. Otherwise, it's not successful. Yes, maybe I have been taking more time. Just been given my experience on that.
Not at all, Mr. Ghosh. I think if we had a few more hours, we'd still be short of time. So in this conversation, no, I think I'm just summarizing. Although it's a very difficult job to summarize after you said it out so beautifully. I think just three things that I take. I think for any incubator, any person who's going in, I mean, first is to spend time to understand context, spend time to committed time, undiluted time to understand context, to understand where is the starting point of an entrepreneur. Not everyone starts from the same place, and then inspire confidence to bridge that gap. As you said, be with people, inspire confidence. So that's the first one.
And second, he will decide, will not push.
Correct. So in fact, that was my second point. Don't foist our expertise, assuming that there is a gap of expertise, because expertise may not exist in PPT form or Excel sheet form or Word document form, but it exists. I think the question of hidden expertise versus our ability to spot it or this thing. And third, I think was very important that don't let our imagination curb someone's aspiration. In the sense कि आप ITI ही जाएंगे या यही करेंगे. Let. I mean, so if I can honestly confess before closing, I think in many ways this is a very refreshing conversation. It took me back to the used to spend in the field, and it's just very inspiring, Mr. Ghosh, to see that as I mentioned once, in your entire journey and entire journey of Bandhan, this deep commitment to what is actual social entrepreneurship has not been lost. And it's just very heartening to see an institution and an individual like you who's keeping the flag flying high at all times. So thank you very much. I'm closing because I think we are out of time, and I know you have a engagement.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Thank you very much from the CII Eastern region. I think this is a terrific, not just a start, but I think it's a terrific push to the social entrepreneurship dialogue that we're trying to foster. So thank you, Mr. Ghosh. Thank you very much. And it's been a personal pleasure to.
Thank you. This is my pleasure, Mr. Saurabh, interact with you. And if something CII like to organize on this type of incubator, they can be designed under your leadership. Whatever need from my side, I'll be like to help on that. This is not the money game.
Correct.
This is not. Okay. Thank you. Namaskar.
Namaskar. And Natalia, back to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ghosh and Mr. Roy. Really, you set the tone of our conference, where in the coming 2 days, we would be talking about the aspects of social enterprise. And this is really a good directional start, I should say, as the taking clues from both Mr. Ghosh and Mr. Roy. And thank you, Mr. Ghosh, for the offer of extending your support and expert hand like you. We have many plans to roll on, which we will definitely discuss under the leadership of Mr. Roy. We will be progressing towards that. In the coming 2 days, we would be talking about the hardships of the developing an enterprises. We will be talking about the most critical part, the capital. And what we have learned from this pandemic is health, which could be a very good sector for the social enterprises. And we would try to brainstorm and talk about few way forward on some sectoral things. Overall, thank you, both of you, for your valuable time in spite of extremely busy schedule. And the benefit is that setting the tone of our conference. Thank you. Thanks to Mr. Ghosh and Mr. Roy.
Thank you, Dalia, and thank you, Mr. Saurabh Roy, and thank you, the audience. It's my pleasure to get the time to interact with all of you on that. Thank
Thanks.
you. I'd like to close now. Huh?
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you. And thank you all participants for joining us. We will again join tomorrow at 1 1 p.m. on the session Crossroads, Getting Through the Tough Times. See you.